This is a commencement of the meeting, and there will be an open session lasting 15 minutes for members of the public to address members of the committee in connection with the planning application to be considered at the meeting. This session allows both applicants and objectors to address the members, and any other information relating to items on the agenda will be considered as part of the agenda item. Issues, concerns and information not relating to any items on the agenda will be considered at a later date or referred to the appropriate body. We believe we have two members of the public, Mr. Thompson and Mrs. Caroline Wolfe. If they would like to speak, please. Would you like to speak first, Mrs. Wolfe?
Yes, certainly. It's in connection with the proposal to divert the footpath number 60 at Wolfstones. This, you're probably familiar, was a matter that was considered by Kirklees Council earlier in the year, I think in January, and they opposed the proposal, rejected it. But the applicant has now taken it to the Secretary of State, and I would just like to ask for the support of the Holme Valley Parish Council in resisting this rerouting. There was a lot of opposition to it in January when Kirklees turned it down. And I think the two crucial grounds on which it's being opposed are safety and extra distance, which detracts from the heritage and enjoyment of that path, which is, after all, an ancient path. If you know it, it's from, I live in Netherthorne, so from Netherthorne up to Wolfstones. It's a lovely straight route, taking the natural gentle slope of the hillside on the contour. And the proposed diversion takes pedestrians off that route, northwards in a big sweep to join Wolfstones Road lower down the hill, so that they would have to climb to regain some height lost. But most importantly, brings them out onto that Wolfstones Road bend, which I know that you, Councillor Roberts, will be familiar with, can be quite a dangerous bend for traffic coming round that road. Yeah. It means that pedestrians will have to walk further on the road than before. There is in your material, because Rich kindly sent it to me, an excellent letter from the footpaths officer of the Rambling Association, Ollie Taylor, in which he deals point by point with the applicant's supporting documentation, and makes very clearly the points in favour of rejecting this application. I would just say that most people taking the route from Netherthorne up to Wolfstones go from there either left to Upper Thong or straight on over the Holme Valley Land Charity land up to the trig point at Wolfstones and beyond. That means that if you take the new path, almost every pedestrian will have to come out on that road and turn left around the blind bend. Yeah. So, yeah, in brief, that's it. But that letter is there in your material, and I would just ask one thing. I wasn't very clear about this. The letter, Ollie Taylor's letter, seems to say that on the first application, Holme Valley Parish Council approved the rerouting before it was later rejected by Kirklees. And I would appeal to you to reconsider the decision if it's possible, because there was such strength of feeling amongst local recreational walkers and walking groups to the rerouting of this path.
Right, thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Wolfe. Can we next hear from Mr. Thompson, please?
Mr. Who?
Oh, sorry, I thought you said Thompson.
No, it's Thompson. It's me.
Oh, right. Hello. Right.
Hello. So, those of you who don't know, I'm Councillor Michael Pogson, but I'm speaking on behalf as a member of the public. First of all, I'd just like to bring this matter was brought forward before the council, but it is over 6 months. It's well over the 6 months time limit for this council to look at this matter again. So I don't think we have any concerns regarding looking at it twice within 6 months. I do consider, I've walked up there recently myself and had a look and checked it out. Currently, if you come up the track, which widens from a footpath to quite a substantial track when it gets to the apex of both the apex of the bend and the apex of the lay of the land. So it's both the high point and it's both the apex of the bend where you come out on there, so you can look both left and right and see traffic coming from both sides, and then either cross the road or turn left if you're going to go to Upperthorne. Currently, where they've put the alternate footpath in, which is actually in place, and you can walk up that way and what have you, it comes out now further down, where so making the bend at the top, you've only got a short bit of distance before the cars come over that on what I would call a blind bend. So I see it's dangerous in two ways. One is because vehicles coming over that from the Upperthorne direction downwards wouldn't see you until they were immediately over that bend, whereas if you were crossing at the apex where the path comes out, they would see you quite a bit further from both directions. And so I think it's from being seen and also seeing traffic from a pedestrian point of view and being seen by other road users such as cars, I think it would be safer to keep it as it is. That's my first point. My second point is that someone's the reasoning behind why they want to change it is that it's over a track which is between two bits of their track. It goes through their, it diverts part of their, it divests part of their land. So they have found vehicles going across, but there's lots and lots of footpaths and public tracks that go in this area, this part of West Yorkshire even, that go through farmyards and go through works and such like. Now, I don't think we should be setting a precedence where just because you've got a farm and you've got a footpath through it, just because you've got a footpath through it and you might move your tractor once a year, we should be diverting the footpath. I don't think it's a precedence that we want to go down, and we want that to be. I don't think that safety issue outweighs the safety issue of coming out onto the road at a lower point. And then the other one is, they bought a property with a footpath coming through it. They could have looked on an OS map and seen the footpath when they bought it. They could have checked with their footpaths officer. It's no secret that footpath was there beforehand and what have you. And buyer beware. I really don't think we should be letting people, developers, for want of a better description, just move footpaths willy-nilly. It's a precedence that we don't really want to go down as a parish council, and therefore I would implore the parish council to put in an objection to the Secretary of State.
Thank you very much, Councillor Boxon.
Sorry, Councillor Roberts, would it be possible to add a comment there? I support everything that Mr. Pogson has said, but there's something I would like to point out. A friend of mine has already submitted her objection to the Secretary of State, and the third point that she made was the very one that Mr. Pogson just made about the fact that the owners of the land knew about this footpath in advance. That was deemed to be an inadmissible objection. The Secretary of State's clerk, whoever wrote back, was very clear about it, because apparently the current application to the Secretary of State is on the grounds that the owners of the land need to reroute this footpath in order to carry out the development that was approved by the council. So they're not interested in comments such as that about their knowing the path before, but they will accept comments about the safety of the public and I suppose about the amenity and just about the possibility of passing through. You made a very good point about they in their application, they make a big thing about moving traffic on site. My argument, in my written argument to them, is that traffic moving on site is a lot less dangerous than the traffic moving on that bend that comes at speed and unexpectedly.
Thank you, Mrs. Wolfe. Right. Well, we will come to this point when I've just got to the item where we can take that on board with the parish council. So if you'd like to just work in the wings, I don't know where he's going to put you, but he's going to put you in some wings somewhere. Well, we'll continue with the remainder of it until we get to that section, and then we can speak about it, the ones that are here. Of course, I shall have to just take, what shall I say, because I live so close to the gentleman, although, to be quite honest, I have never ever met him, so I don't know, you know, I know his wife, but I don't know him personally at all, so whether or not I need to declare that and not take part in the conversation, I wouldn't like to say, but I'll take guidance from our deputy clerk. Okay, so if we can go on to item 2.
So do I leave the meeting?
Mary wants a word.
No.
Judith, it was just a practical thing. I'm getting a lot of feedback for the sound. I don't know if anybody else is. Is it just me?
Yeah, getting a bit of jiggling about. I can hear it.
Yeah, I just wonder if those are not speaking could just mute, then we might get less. Thank you.
Okay, is that better for you? Good, that's fine. Well, you can just put a thumb up if you want. Right, so second item is the public bodies. As local parish and town council meetings can now be recorded, the chairman is to check if any members of the public would like to record the meeting to ensure reasonable facilities can be provided. The meeting is already being recorded by the officer and the audio and video format. So would you like to actually record the meeting, Mrs. Wolfe? I don't think she can hear me now.
Thank you. Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Sorry, but I've muted myself.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I think if you would actually like a recording of it, if you get onto the clerk, he will pass it on to you. Okay, jolly good. So, do we have any, item 4 is the acceptance of apologies. Do we have any acceptances? Yeah. Acceptance of apologies.
Yeah, we've got 2 apologies, one from Councillor Feeney and one for Councillor Gould. Councillor Feeney has submitted comments on the applications in the Upper Thong ward.
Yes, I've seen those. Thank you, Richard. Thank you. And I see we have Councillor Paul Dixon on site now, haven't we? Is that correct, Paul?
Yes.
Really good. Okay, right. Do we have any members' personal and disclosable pecuniary interests on items on the agenda? Do you have any, Paul?
Yes, just one.
Right, and that is?
Crop Bottom Farm, Polston, Knoll Lane.
Right.
Number 0643.
0643. Okay, well, thank you, Paul. Now then, Richard, do you think I ought to declare an interest in this one to do with the pathway or not? Is it not?
I don't think you should, no.
No need. No need, Judith. You don't know the people.
I don't really know. I don't know. I wouldn't know him if I fell over him, to be quite truthful. And I've only lived here 30 some years. And I think he's lived here in the regions of, lived here in the regions of 20 some years up at that farm.
Parishioners are more important than individuals.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. Item number...
Councillor Bracker's wanting to speak. Councillor Roberts.
Sorry, Judith, number 17. I know the owner.
Yeah, number 17. Mary. Number 17. Thank you, Mary. Okay. Next one. Anybody else?
Chair, yes.
Rachel. Hello.
Rachel, yeah. Sorry. There is one 09 on our list. That's one of our neighbours, Hogley Green.
Yes.
So it's just personal interest.
Right. Okay.
I also wanted to ask Rich. We've got someone on our screen with the name Karen. Is that just a member of the public who's?
Yes. No, Caroline. It is.
No, Karen.
No. We've got another one's arrived. I just wondered if that's a member of the public or a councillor who's got no face. That's all.
Hello, yes, sorry, this is Karen and I'm a member of the public.
Okay, that's great. I just wanted to check it wasn't a councillor trying to get on. That was
No, I'll mute.
welcome. Thanks.
But you have spoken, haven't you, Caroline?
Caroline has, Karen hasn't.
Oh, right. Does she want to speak over a subject, particular subject? We have gone past that section, but I will allow it on this occasion.
That's very kind. Thank you very much. I'll put my video on and then you can see my face as well.
Right.
It won't allow me to start it. But anyway, I'm sorry if you've already gone past it, but it was a question really about the revisited application for Wickledon Gate. So I don't know if you've gone past that application, have you?
No, we haven't started with any of the.
Oh, right. Well, I'll hang on then. I'll mute and I'll wait until you give me.
No, you've got to. Oh,
right. Okay. So, I was involved in discussions around there was an original application for the development of the whole of that piece of land, which is designated urban green space at the back of Wickledon and the back of Paris in Scholes. It was a long drawn out affair, but eventually that was refused planning. And I notice it's going back in now as one dwelling, and the dwelling that the applicant has made is in the same place as the original application, which was turned down. And I know, Paul, I think you were in the committee at the parish council meeting when that was originally going through in 2016. And the proximity of that building to the neighbouring property at number 31 Wickledon Gate was a cause for everybody's concern. Now, per se, I don't have a massive objection to a single dwelling being built, because we do need to build dwellings, and organic growth of the village I think is fine. What is concerning me about this particular one, given all the previous rejections of planning for a major development, is why there needs to be a public road planned for and applied for within the curtilage of a private dwelling. And while I appreciate that there's a difficulty in second guessing what an applicant might be looking to do in the future, I think it would be foolish to not make the comment, given that there is no need for a public road if there is a single dwelling going up. And the residents around here are most concerned that this is going to be development by stealth, and that if a public road is allowed right next to this private dwelling application, that it's only a matter of time before the developer then seeks to develop the land, which has already been refused on 3 times, bit by bit. So I think that is our primary concern. I know the man at number 31 is concerned about the proximity of the building to his property, because it is very, very close.
Can I ask you, what planning application number is that?
Oh, sorry, my love. It is 2020/629/W.
Number 5 on our list, Chair.
All right, thank you. I've been having a quick finish.
Sorry.
Yes. Right, okay. Okay, thank you. Right, okay, well, we'll look into that when we come to it. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much. Do I need to leave now? Is that
well, you can wait if you want. You can wait and listen to what our outcome is of that.
Lovely.
Okay.
I'll remute. Thank you, Judith. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. We're moving on now. Since I've gotten. Right. The next is to receive. Just a minute. I'm on the right one here. I've more bits of paper here. This is it. Next one is to consider. No, with nobody with no personal or disclosable pecuniary interest, haven't we? Have we? With items on the agenda? No. And to consider written requests for new DPI dispensations? No.
Not got any.
Sorry, Richard.
No, there haven't been any.
No, thank you. To consider whether items on the agenda should be discussed in private. I don't think we've any of those, have we? No, no. Okay, thank you. Right, and to confirm the minutes of the previous meeting of the planning held on the 3rd of August. Are there anybody who would like to make some comments with regards to that? No.
Suggest we move them.
Thank you very much indeed. Completed Kirklees planning list to note the list 2021-05 updated with the views and the commentees. And we can now go into the new planning applications.
Okay.
Right. And the first,
we discuss the footpath.
we are just about to discuss the footpath, Councillor Dixon.
Yeah.
Thank you for your
Okay.
early attendance. Right.
Okay.
We are going to talk about the footpath at Mr. Butterfield's, who lives at Wolfstones Farm, and the rerouting of this particular footpath, which originally goes past his property, and he wishes now to reroute it to come out further down Wolfstones Road, because actually Mr. Butterfield bought the property that is opposite his property, and that has all been converted, and so what he's been trying to do is trying to amalgamate both. But the actual, I don't know whether anybody's seen the pictures that he's put up now of the what he's done down the road, which would pass his house. I don't know whether anybody's seen any of those pictures. Has anybody seen of them? Have you looked on your latest thing that's come through from Richard? There's three. He's put some blooming great big posts down the middle, so then people can only walk at one side. Has anybody noticed them? No?
Yes. Yeah. Rich sent them round, Chair. So
Yes, yes, we've seen them.
can I just suggest that I know our previous decision, which is Councillor Pogson, as a member of the public, pointed out, was over 6 months ago anyway.
Yes.
Given the weight of public opinion and the fact that Kirklees rejected it, we should object to this attempt to basically override public opinion, because given Kirklees have already rejected it, albeit we were supportive of the procedure in the start, given we've now had quite a lot of representations, including obviously the ones we've had in person tonight, but also Rich sent on a few items of correspondence that had also been received, I think we should vote to object to the diversion of the footpath. That's my proposal.
Yeah, and anybody else, any comments with regards to this?
Thomas.
Councillor Tom Dick.
Paul. Have you some comments, Paul?
I thought Thomas wanted to say something, and then I'll say something after.
Okay, Tom?
Yeah, I'll speak about this one. I can't recall us actually being in favour of diverting the footpath, because I remember being very much against it, because at the moment it just goes straight towards where the Wolfstones Heights is. It makes total sense to have the footpath where it is now, and it just seems natural for it to go across the land. And if you buy the land and there's a footpath on it, you kind of you should accept it, really. It really does my head in, these people who try to divert footpaths, and because they don't like them on their land, or they don't like where they are. If you buy somewhere and there's an established footpath on it, you should just you should accept it rather than try and divert it. It's not fair on the public, and it's totally stupid where it's moving it to, because it brings you out way further up the road where you have to walk down, where there's no footpaths. You're on a bad corner. There's so many reasons against it, which have been mentioned by Mrs. Wolf, by Michael, in the documents provided as well by the walking group, the Ramblers, I think. Yeah.
Walkers are welcome.
Yeah, walkers are welcome. Yeah, yeah. There's just so many things against diverting this footpath. So many reasons against it, and I think we should definitely side with the residents and the other groups.
I think initially we supported it because it had already taken place at this footpath. It had already been diverted. It had already been constructed, and because there was no objections then
Julie,
that's the reason.
I think the problem we've got is that since we've had this COVID, there's been that many people in order to keep themselves occupied doing walking, and some of these little footpaths have turned from B roads into motorways, and I think it's the opportune time now to put all walkers onto roads, and let's get away from this footpath problem that we've got by moving all footpaths off of private land and make it so that land can be used for purposes that the owners have bought it for.
Well, I think that's what we're wanting, because that particular footpath was classed as what was it called, a coffin way or something, which was to do with anybody that died further up the valley. Then they were all taken, because it's a straight route down into Netherthong, is that? Whereas taking them how it's been put together now, the pathway, then as everybody says, it's coming out at a junction where people will not be able to see what's coming over the brow of the hill. It is a very bad place where it's coming out. So are we?
Gav wants a word.
Yes.
I know we're not on Land Charity, but if I could mention this to Tom, didn't it go through Land Charity and we wasn't happy about it?
Yeah,
and that was a while ago.
Yeah, obviously the route to the Land Charity site is across the road from where the path is at the moment. So as a land charity, and you would kind of want to kind of encourage people to go up to Wolfstone Heights and enjoy the view. It makes sense for the footpath to stay as it is, rather than for it to go to be diverted. Totally, it's just totally. It doesn't make sense moving it up there. The only reason it makes sense is to the landowner. But
yes, we wasn't happy about it.
Yeah.
Can I just say in defence of a little bit here, and I'm not opposed to the fact that we are wanting it to revert back to how it should have been, is actually the land up to the trick point at Wolfstone isn't a designated route. Okay. And the land further on isn't a designated route that goes across Mr. Hines' land. And in actual fact, the woodland is not a designated walker's route, but because it has been used over and over and over for so many years, it's just become an acceptable situation that these are for people to walk. I mean, we have people that walk on our lane and we haven't any problems with them at all. And if the walkers are welcome, come and say, can we come and bring a delegation of a load of people on a Sunday morning, then we've never objected at all. And they come straight past our house, and well, in fact, sometimes we're very happy to see people, aren't we, Mrs. Wolf? Right, okay, so can we say that we are supportive of the fact that we are now unsupportive of the support that we gave it in the first place? Is that right? I think so, isn't it?
A couple of people with hands up still, Councillor Roberts, Councillor Hogley and
right.
Councillor
Blacker.
I think Councillor Blacker was first.
Okay, Councillor Blacker. You say.
Just in terms of procedure, I think Rachel put forward a motion. I would like to second that, and that we have a vote on this.
Right. Okay, that's fine.
Chair, can I just expand the proposal, which is not just that we object to it, but actually we give the reasons which have been cited. So safety for pedestrians crossing the road in a different location, and also the added distance that walkers have to do. But I think safety is the main one, to be honest, because it's not a huge diversion as a distance. But I think we need to give a few reasons in the justification, not just say we object it, particularly given that we've given a different view last time. And also we should reflect on the weight of local opinion as well. So.
The work on the property has actually finished now, I believe. And there has been, vehicles going up and down that lane. I can understand where he's coming from with the safety aspect, but there has been vehicles going up and down that lane and up and down our road now for the past 6 months at least. I mean, there's been a little digger thing coming up and down our road. I don't know where he's taken all this soil to or where he's picked it up from, but he seems to take it one day and bring it back the day after. But anyhow, I think all that work is now completed. He's got all his underground garages and he's done all his big excavation works and he's built on his bits that he wants to build on, and he's done his alterations to the properties next door. So possibly it's not necessary, and that the footpath could now just go as it was originally in front of the house. And that he actually does take those silly bollards down that he's put up. I mean, he's put a big 6 foot high stone wall up. I don't know whether you've noticed that, anybody?
Chair, I don't think we can comment on that particularly. If he's retained the width of a standard footpath, he can do what he wants. From that point of view, I would imagine. Although we can express concerns at an apparent narrowing of the path through the property. But I think we need to move to a vote, Chair, please.
Okay, that's fine. Can we have a vote, please? Yes, are you going to say what you want as the vote? It to vote for? That we are in objection of it being as it was?
No, we're objecting to the proposal is that we object to the diversion of the footpath from its original routing on the grounds of safety to pedestrians and added distance.
Right, okay. Right. Are we all happy?
Can we take a vote on that, please?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Kath. We'll take a vote on that, please. Okay. Anybody else?
I abstain as I missed the discussion.
Oh, you're here. Hello, Pat.
I've been here a couple of minutes, but I missed most of it, so I'll have to abstain.
Well, I'm sorry we can't go back because we've taken quite
No, I don't want to. No.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm just seeing who's online now. Okay, that's okay. Thank you very much. So are we happy to go with Councillor Hogley's proposal? Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody against that? No? Right, okay. I hope you're happy with that.
I just wanted to tell Councillor Paul Dixon vote.
Sorry, what did you say?
I didn't say Councillor Paul Dixon's vote on that.
I haven't, because my view is footpaths should be all closed.
No,
and let's have the land back.
No, that footpath has been there since, it'll have been there since 16 something or other.
It's time when they're all changed then.
No, okay. So it's...
I'm not a walker, so I'm not in favour of footpaths.
Well, I know you're not a walker, but that doesn't mean to say everybody else isn't. Okay. I hope you're happy with that, Mrs. Wolfe.
Sorry, could I thank the parish council very much for taking it seriously, and I'm really pleased that you've come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
What?
Okay, my love.
Yeah. May I just ask what will be the next stage? Does the clerk respond to the Secretary of State on your behalf?
Well, I think it'll go through to Kirklees first, and they possibly would ask us if we would put some wording together, and then we can pass it on to the Secretary of State ourselves. But he does have a right to appeal to the Secretary of State, and it will depend on what he has to say. The Secretary of State is, I can only say, a being to himself. We've had him up here once, and it all was totally different to what we thought. And we've got some interference. What have we got that's interfering on this line? Does anybody know? Has anybody got any music going? Or...
We all need to go on to mute unless we're actually speaking. Because
okay, that's okay. Thank you.
Chair, I think to clarify, the order is already with the Secretary of State. It's gone through the Kirklees, so it is an action that the Deputy Clerk will submit an objection to whoever the appropriate contact is, which is all within the paperwork that we were sent. So
Yeah.
it goes straight to Secretary of State because we've already gone through the Kirklees
The process,
objection and then they've
yeah.
appealed already.
So
Okay.
I'll write a letter. I'll circulate it to the members for comments, and then it will go from there. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you
Are we
very
all
much. I'll leave the meeting. Bye-bye.
Are
Thank
we
you.
all happy with that? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Good night. Good night, Mrs. Wolf. Right, are we moving on? Are we moving on?
I'm
Oh.
sorry I was late. I thought it started at 7.
No, you didn't read it, obviously. You didn't read your information. It started at 6:30, love.
Right.
Chair, can I suggest we bring forward the Wickledon Gate?
We can do, yes, we can bring that forward as well if you wish. Right, so that's, just a minute, as I say, I've got 1,001 bits of paper here. Wickledon Gate. Right, does anybody have any comments on Wickledon Gate? Yes, no?
Tom
Yes.
does.
Yes,
John and Mary.
yeah. Yes, yeah, it's it's in my patch, isn't it, me and Paul? Yeah, and I went to look at it a couple of days ago, and I just endorse everything that Karen has said. I noticed that the Kirklees, the ecology, both the ecology person and the trees person, are not in support of this application, and it is the only public way into a large open area, kind of wetland. So I feel very much opposed to this.
Okay, anybody else, any comments?
Thomas.
Councillor Tom Dixon.
Yeah, sorry, I'm on my phone now, but my laptop just cut out, so I hope you can hear me okay.
We can.
That's good.
I had an email this afternoon from a resident who lives next door to the site, and he's very much against it for the reasons that the lady mentioned who spoke before. Sorry, I've forgotten her name. Was it Caroline or?
Karen.
Caroline, yes.
Karen, yeah. Yeah, because Karen was included in the email as well, so yeah. So basically everything what Mary said, like one house there would probably be okay. It would kind of fit that corner part of the site, but the way they're trying to add a road in it's just like we're trying to add a road straight in towards the wetland and put like a load more houses on there really, which would be very bad for like nature and various other things in the area, for trees and the bushes and all the things like that, and the access as well to the wetland and to the old mill pond as well. So I'd like to agree with Mary and against this proposal. I was going to quote the email, but my laptop just died and I can't get onto it at the moment.
Right. So what are our grounds for refusal?
Madam Chairman, Rachel wanted to speak, and could I speak as well yet?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Rachel wanted to speak first.
Yeah. Right.
A quick one. One of the reasons to oppose it is because of its impact on the urban green space, which is the wetland that we've been talking about, but it is specifically a protected area of green space in the local plan. So I think it's worth highlighting that it is an urban green space, not just a open space.
Right. Thank you. And Paul?
There's no other way into this area of land if a roadway isn't kept there. And I know I looked at it when it was put up for the application before, which is some number of years ago. This is the worst piece of land in Scholes. It's the worst piece of land. To me, it's far better to develop rubbish and bad sites than it is to develop good farmland and greenbelt. This is adjacent to the old mill. It's adjacent to the houses that's on the road in Paris. And it's basically what we didn't used to do, which was allow backland development. And if this had been developed, it would have been backland development. If we do allow this application, it's going to mean that there is going to be a roadway and an access into that land, whether it is for recreational purposes or not. And I think that if we're going to be leaving that bit of land there, there's got to be some access to it, whether it be on a public road or whether it not. But I don't think allowing one house there is going to be the thing. It's going to be the future that we have to look to rather than the present. And I think if we oppose this now, you may end up with something worse than what we could be having. I don't think it'd be right to stop somebody getting into his own land.
Right, thank you, Councillor Dixon. Anybody else, any comments? We'll take a vote on this, shall we? That we refuse it on the fact that it is in an area of urban green space, and that there's a possibility. Mind you, we cannot speculate to the future. We can only take on board actually what it says here, which is for one detached dwelling with an integral garage. So, what would you like?
Councillor Tom Dixon wants to say something.
Yeah.
Chair, yeah, I've just found that email now. My laptop's back working. So the resident, Jeffrey Subner, has he's got issues with the proximity to his own house. The plans pay no regard to the design and building line of the existing properties, and would also overturn several of the policies of Kirklees in the local plan. So, yeah, he mentions that. He mentions urban green space, and as well with it being against the local plan policies that have already been set out on that as well. So there's quite a few reasons to object it for. I just get the impression that this application, it seems to me like it's a bit of a red herring. They're putting an application for one house, but this isn't for one house. This is for about possibly like 10, 15 more houses on the other space which is available for is on that field there. And also, rather than it just being one house there, they'll probably try and cram 3 or 4 more houses in. Well, I suppose a bit like what my dad's saying, really. But if this goes through, there'll be more that comes off it afterwards. And if we are against it, we should try and stop it now rather than later. And with the local plan as well, Kirklees has already gone through Kirklees. They've already pretty much decided what sites they want to be developed for the next 20 years, I think it was, something like that. So I think that if Kirklees have already decided the big sites that they want to build on, like other sites like this shouldn't be a part of it. And if it is just for one house, they shouldn't have the road going through to the other side. They could have access through a footpath or something like that. That'd be fine. Like Dad talks about there being an access there. They don't need to have a road access to it. Or no.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about right.
Right. So we're non-supportive of it and we refuse this application.
Yeah, that'd be my proposal based on the reasons I've said.
Okay.
It goes against local plan. The area is designated as urban green space. The local resident thinks it's like over intensification and that the design do not fit in with the other areas of the site.
Okay.
And these reasons with the design make me think that they are just going to try and get through. They haven't really thought about it very much. They just want to get it through and then they can put more on. Right, I'll be quiet now.
Okay.
There's also the point about the trees, because I did go and have a look, and there are 2 totally magnificent trees that would have to come out, and they're the end of quite a stand of protected trees. Once they've gone. So
yeah.
Okay.
Right. Thank you very much indeed for that. So we are non-supportive of it and refuse the application. Okay.
Yeah. Can
we move on to the next one now?
I think we need to take a vote on that, Councillor.
Yeah, we'll take a vote. Anybody? Hands up, please, if you are supportive that we are against it. Anybody for the application? Councillor Dixon, are you against or are you neutral?
I'm stopping neutral.
Okay, thank you. Right, so that one is refused. Item 6 is 2 Denham Drive.
All right, go back to the start.
Pardon?
Number 1.
Go back to the start.
Why? Oh,
We haven't done 1 to 5.
sorry, we've all these, yeah. Start at number 1. This is 5 St Mary's Rise, Netherthorne, Holmfirth. This is erection of a first floor rear balcony. I put support subject to no overlooking. Are we happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, can I have a show of hands on that, please? And anybody, any comments first of all before any of it at all? No? Okay, thank you. Item 2 is 3 Broomy Lane, Netherthorne. Gosh, this is mine as well. This is erection of a single story and first floor rear extension and external alterations. I put support.
Yep.
Anybody, any comments? No, we're all in support of that. Thank you very much. Number 3 is Croft Bottom Farm, Fulston Hall Lane, Fulston. This is the demolition of piggery and erection of 4 detached dwellings parked within a conservation area. DF and DH, whoever DF and DH is.
Councillor Firth, Councillor Hall, I'm not part of the group, unfortunately.
Yeah, does anybody would like to speak on this application?
Yeah, I'll speak on it if I may.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think the principle of developing the site is okay. I don't really have a problem with that. I'm not impressed by their selection of materials, though. I think
No.
working on the basis of, well, it looked like a metal shed, so therefore we have to build a house that looks like a metal shed. But I'm not sure that is quite, I don't know, that doesn't seem quite right to me. Surely they should make the whole development look attractive. And I think that zinc material is rather overbearing and out of keeping with the style of Fulston, which is a very attractive little hamlet in the valley.
It is. You haven't been on what is it called? Something design? On television? Yes, Paul, Tom?
Yeah, I haven't looked at the type of buildings there, but I think Fulston may be a conservation area as well.
It is.
Which is just round, is literally just round the corner from there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if the piggery is not going to be like in use anymore, then they might as well do something with it and build some houses there.
Mm.
I don't think the highway is actually too great coming out of there, but like I said, if there's another building there, like a business at the moment, which has used it for many years, it's a very quiet road, but cars do tend to go quite fast just around there. It's a national speed limit, so.
Right. Anybody else? Any further comments? No? Yes? No? No? Okay. Well, I put the building, it would be used, it would be more appropriate to use it as a dwelling rather than as it is, which you just left as a bit of an eyesore. It looks exceptionally run down and needs something doing with. But yes, I do agree that it's a bit futuristic, is what they're going to be building it off, and what it'll look like. But it's not far from what it looks like now, really. It just looks to be tarted, well, not tarted, but it looks to be a little bit more in keeping. But I can see where you mean, Rachel, that it looks a bit futuristic, doesn't it, as it is. It's grand design you need to watch, love, when you watch doing some of these. And they put some of these properties up. But I'm supportive of that they are using the buildings, because there is a new thing that's come through, which I put to one side and I've misplaced it, from the Farmer's Guardian, which is talking about the use of buildings that have been at one time farm buildings that have been built within certain time and they've been to a certain extent in good order, which obviously these must pass that criteria, and they have to be built after 1931, I think, and that it's now then, what's it called? Oh, I can't just remember. I shall have to find it out and send everybody a copy of it. It was a very useful piece of information that I got, because I was looking at it and thought, well, this will be utilised by a lot of people that have got buildings around here. I mean, such as myself, where next door is, to utilise it as another property, because they're saying that each one that they allow, and provided it passes all the criteria, then it's another one that's knocked off that list that, you know, for houses and development that's wanted within the area. So, I'm happy that we're supportive of it.
Chair, can I just comment that I've just looked at the map of Kirklees with the conservation areas on it, and I think the farm just falls outside of the border of it, but it does border the conservation area. So I think, like you're, I think, proposing, we can support the principle of developing the site, but have concerns as to whether the materials are appropriate given its proximity to the conservation area.
Okay, we can do that. Okay, are we happy with that? Can everybody have hands, please, that we're supportive of it? Councillor Dixon, are you taking part in this discussion?
I've signed the book, madam.
Oh, sorry.
I have an interest.
Right, okay, that's fine. We'll move on. Next one is number 4, erection of a detached dwelling with garage, and this is at land adjacent to Longlands Bank, Thongs Bridge, JB, PD and DG. Wooldale. Wooldale? No, we've nobody here from Wooldale.
Yeah, no.
I put to support. Are you happy with that, Rachel?
Yes, I am. I had permission before, so it's just moving the garage slightly, I think.
Yeah. Okay, and we're all happy with that. Thank you very much. Right, next one we've done. Number 6 is 2 Denham Drive, Netherthong. This is erection of an extension and alterations to create dwelling forming annex accommodation associated with 2 Denham Drive, Netherthong. I put support subject to materials in keeping. Are we happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Number 7 is 38 Southgate Honley. This is erection of a raised decking, installation of bifold doors and alterations. Pat?
I think we should approve. I can see no possible grounds for not doing so.
Yes, I put subject to no overlooking. Are we happy with that? We're all happy. Thank you very much. Number 8 is the barn, 1 Hauling Farm, Hauling Lane, Honley. This is a listed building consent for the installation of a multi-fuel log burning stove and external flue.
Obviously, we can't give listed building consent, but we have to refer it back to whoever, you know, the appropriate officer. But I think we should recommend approval.
Yeah. Anybody else? I put subject to listed building officer and provide that the log burner conforms to the required standard.
Yeah.
Because they have got to, I think it's to do with
they can only burn certain kinds of wood nowadays because of even going back to the 1953 Clean Air Act.
Right. Okay. Are we supportive of that then? Thank you very much. Number 9 is Hogley Green Cottages, 27 Booth House Lane. This is the erection of a single-storey rear extension. All apart from Rachel can answer that. Yes, anybody?
I support it, Chair.
You're happy to support. Thank you very much, Kath. Okay, anybody else? Are we all happy to support? Thank you very much. So that's supported. Number 10 is land of Cartworth Road. This is the erection of a stable block and ancillary equestrian storage and the formation of a riding arena, which is a modified proposal. Rachel.
Oh, sorry, this minute. Yeah, I think this is fine. They've just had to move things around on the site a bit because of some overhead cabling. So I think
there's cables, aren't there?
Yeah.
Right. So we're happy to support that.
Madam Chairman, is it the right thing to be doing? We've got all these applications up Cartworth Road. It's all land that was sold by the Morehouse family. We need stables for horses, but are we building houses?
It isn't a house, it's a stable block.
Yeah, but it says more of a modified proposal. Was it originally a larger proposal?
No, it was just the location of the stable block had to move slightly because of overhead cables on the site.
Right.
So it's not doing a stables instead of a house or a house instead of a stables or whatever. It's just literally.
It'll be a house. It'll be a house.
It rotates at 90 degrees.
Yeah. Okay. Support.
Now, number 11 is a different kettle of fish, isn't it, Councillor Hogler?
Yeah, it's a bit tricky, isn't it? Because someone who, as I understand it from the papers anyway, I'm sure Councillor Dixon will know the site better than I, but you know, someone used to rent a lot of land, which included what I can make out a barn. That land has now all been sold off in various parcels, to many of which to then build houses on old buildings, including the old barn that this farmer used to use. And they now need a barn on some of their land to provide the agricultural function that the previous rental of a barn offered them. So in terms of securing the viability of an agricultural business in the valley, they need the barn. So to be honest, I'm happy that that's the case. The challenge is then, of course, we don't know whether someone in the future would then apply to turn said barn into a residence, which is what's gradually happened up that road, as I think Councillor Dixon was suggesting. So I guess the application as it stands, I'm supportive of it because it supports the viability of the agricultural business there.
I thought this was just moving by about 3 metres because of a sewer.
No, it was their barn, and I didn't know actually that bit of land had been sold because it comes under the same name as the one previously above. And I put to refuse because if you turn a barn into a habitable property, then you can't build a barn on that land for another 10 years.
Madam Chairman, I don't know who the applicant is. I don't know which bit of land it is. But all I can say is if it's part of the land that was taken from the Moorhouse family sales, and this I'm thinking is part of, nobody lost a barn.
Well, it said the people who was put the application in, they were called Moorhouse, was it Moorhouse Turner or something like that? It was a double barrelled name.
Was it Thompson Moorhouse?
That's it, Thompson Moorhouse.
They didn't have a barn. They didn't have a barn. They might have used part of the family property, but I think the barn that was there, which was sold for housing a few years ago, was used by Turner Brothers, not by the Moorhouse family themselves.
No.
Are we sure that...
Unless they all operated as one unit, I don't know.
Yeah. Yes, Councillor Blacker.
Are we sure this is not just a slight alteration? I thought this was a slight alteration. The previous application we'd approved, and they've discovered a public sewer and they're having to move it by 3 metres.
No, I didn't see it like that. Did you, Councillor Hogler?
I know nothing.
No, I don't think so. I thought it was a new thing. I'm just checking the files again. I see it does say modified proposal in brackets, yeah. Oh yeah, I can see the section, Councillor Blacker, discussion about the public sewer. Need to slightly relocate the building.
That's right. I think we've previously.
Oh yes,
we previously approved it, so I think we need to.
Okay. All right, well, we need to stand by that then.
I think we need to support it again in that case.
Sorry, the supporting information didn't, which I read in detail, didn't really reflect the fact that actually the application was just a modification. You're quite right, Councillor Blacker.
Okay.
Don't want to disturb the sewer.
No, certainly not.
We don't want that in the ban.
We don't.
Should we support it then?
The support.
Support, yeah.
Support. Okay, thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Next one is number 12. This is Windy Ridge Quarry. This is a variation of conditions 7 and 8 on the previous permission to continue the extraction of sandstone and deepen the quarry to 3 metres AOD to restore the quarry to agricultural use by means of infill and to recycle construction, demolition and excavation of waste. Are we happy to support that? Yeah, Councillor Hogley.
The only thing, whilst I'm supportive of the quarry, I do have some reservations about the removal of that condition, which I'm now trying to get on my screen and can't do, because they sort of say something about the number of vehicles, and there were some per day and some per week, and they say it's only an increase from like 14 to 16 or something, but actually, as far as I can make out, it goes from a potential 7 a day to 16 a day. which actually is quite a significant uplift. So I was minded to leave it to the officers who put in that condition in the first place, because there's clearly some debate about the definition of HGVs and trucks. And leave it to them, because I don't feel we've quite got enough information. But I think they're being a little bit, I don't think the information regarding the number of traffic movements makes the point that they're trying to make, that actually makes no difference.
Councillor Bracken, I think you were wanting to speak, weren't you? No?
One point, Madam Chairman, I'd like to just make. I'm in favour of the quarry, but how does it affect the water table? Because there was problems with the water table up there once before, when they went to a certain level, when the quarry went down to a certain level.
Well, I'm afraid I can't answer that.
It did some damage to the water table, which caused problems for other houses.
I can't answer that because there's nothing down from the water board about it, is there?
No, but I'm just thinking that that's something that
Bob, shall we put there was
think about it.
Shall we put that we're supportive of it, subject to what Rachel said about the movement of vehicles, and that it does not alter the water table?
Yeah.
Okay, shall we do that? Are we happy to do that? Okay. Show of hands, please. Thank you very much. Okay. Going to number 13, which is 69 Halling Lane, Honley. Demolition of an existing outbuilding and porch and the erection of a single-storey side extension and two-storey rear extension and detached garage.
Have you not missed one out? I've got the barn, One Halling Farm, before that one.
No.
Done it.
Lucky you.
Haven't I?
I haven't got that.
Done that one.
No, number 13 is 69 Halling Lane, Honley.
The barn, we did it. It was item number 8.
Right.
Oh, yeah. We've done that, haven't we?
Yeah.
Well, you did it before I arrived, which is a pity.
No, we haven't, Pat. We've done it while you were sat there. You were sat there, Pat, when we did number 8, because number 8's only just been done a minute ago.
You're right. Sorry, I'm being dopey. Moving on, 69 Halling Lane.
Problem.
This is an altered plan. It was turned down by the officers before, and they've altered it. To me, though I am no expert, it looked better than before, but I think we should refer it back to the officers, because I'm in no position to judge whether they are fulfilling or overcoming the problems that the officers had with the original plan.
Councillor Hoglow, you comment on that? I put support it because I've looked at it and it is different to what the one was that they refused.
Yeah, they've certainly altered it, but I think it needs to go back to the officers to see if they've altered it enough.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you want me to put down then? Refuse for
leave it to officers, I think.
Refer it to the officers.
Support subject to officers.
Yes.
Support Kirklees officer decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Support Kirkley officer's decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Number 14 is Rock House at 8 Somervale Home Firth, and this is erection of decking. Rachel?
Yeah, I think this looks fine. It's sort of retrospective, to be honest. I mean, on the face of it, you look at the pictures of the location and go, oh my, that's an awful lot of decking. But actually where it is, it's at the rear of the property and you can't really see it anyway, because it's kind of between the rock face going up to Station Road. So, and there have obviously been discussions with the Kirklees officer, so they've done a few alterations, added some pots, reordered the steps and things. So I think we should support it.
Yeah, okay. We're happy to support that, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, then, number 15 is 53 Upper Bank End Road, Home Firth. This is you again, Rachel. Erection of a detached garage.
Yeah, this seems to be, as far as I can make out, this is a replacement of a existing garage. So I think it looks fine. I'd support it.
That's fine. Thank you very much indeed. Everybody else in happiness with that? Thank you. Number 16 is Field House, 2 Dern Dyke Lane, Upper Cumberworth. I put it, I don't, is it in our patch that? Are we sure?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I checked it.
I put, it's in a green belt development. And it is in the green belt what he's wanting to do. And it's if you're wanting to use land that's in the green belt, then you can only go a third over what you have in existence, as far as I'm given to understand, and this is exceeding that, so I have to put down as a refusal. Any other comments?
I thought it was looked okay, but I went to your greater knowledge on these things, Chair. But what we could do is support the officer's decision, rather than necessarily cite those figures, because I don't know whether they're the current ones that the officer.
No, they can have changed it, can't they?
Madam Chairman, I think the third used to be when developments of houses were extended, they couldn't be extended above a third.
No.
It wasn't the areas of land that was a third, it was the size of the house.
Well, it's
and then that changed to be the dominant feature. And what we've got here is a change of use of land to extend a domestic curtilage. I don't know which this property is or not. I know Derndyke Lane and I know where it stands, but I don't know which property it is. But it just says change of use of land to extend domestic curtilage, so it's obviously part of a field that's been put into a garden.
Yeah.
And then whether it is because it's a garden, it's then classified as part of the curtilage and is brown land rather than green. I don't know.
Well, my way of thinking that is, if you've got it's a big piece of land that he's taking as his garden or whatever it is you're going to be using it for. And in actual fact, later along the line, that could possibly be a development property. Are you going? Oh.
You're back.
Anyhow, we'll bow to Kirklees' superior knowledge, shall we? Okay. We'll put subject to Kirklees. Subject to Kirklees Greenbelt officer, shall we? The officer there, or what can one suggest?
We'll just put officer decision.
Kirklees officer's decision.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to specify.
Okay. Thank you very much. Number 17 is 29 Watts per Mill, Sheffield Road. This is installation of bifold doors with external patio area and additional windows. MB, who's MB? Oh, Mary Blacker, there you are, Mary.
MB's me, but I've declared an interest because I know this person is another governor at Hepworth School. It looked fine to me, though.
Okay, you're happy to support?
I've no problem with it.
I put support, thank you. Next one is Abinger Farms, Colesmore Road, a conversion of agricultural buildings to form 5 new dwellings with associated works. Mary Blacker.
I think this, Madam Chairman, was passed some years ago when I had an involvement. I don't know whether it was for 5 or for 4 houses at that time. 5 seems a lot to get out of that block of buildings, but if it is going to be smaller, and that means it'll be cheaper, so I don't know which is for the better, 4 or 5.
Yes, Councillor Blacker.
They've reduced. They've now got just 2 smaller houses and do look quite small on this. It is quite it's a pretty long frontage. And I thought it was fine. I mean, it's an absolute horrendous mess at the moment, so it looked okay to me.
We're happy to support. Okay, thank you very much. Number 19 is 3 Spring Gardens, Upper Thom, erection of a single-storey extension. Now then, Councillor Fee, what did she have to say? Did she put that she was supportive, didn't she?
You put support, yeah.
Yeah, okay, we'll support that. Okay, thank you very much for that. And number 20, High Wings, 41 Oakfield Road, Honley. Erection of a first floor side extension.
I've suggested we approve.
Approved, thank you. Everybody else happy with that arrangement? Okay. Number 21 is 23 Greenfield Road, Burnley Feeney. Again, erection of a two-storey side extension, formation of terrace above existing garage and exterior alterations. Anybody, any comments there? What did Councillor Feeney say, Richard?
She said support part of ongoing renovation of house, previous permission granted in 2019. No substantial reason to refuse.
Right, okay, I put support subject to no overlooking. Okay?
Okay.
Are we happy with that? Thank you very much. Number 22 is 37 Magdale Honley. This is a replacement of roof over rear single-storey extension with lantern skylight.
There's another one as well. The following one is listed building consent for the same thing.
Yeah.
To me, we can't give approval to this, but it seems to me more attractive than what's currently there. The changes are renovations, and they're not to the original building, they're to stuff that was altered in the 30s. I think we should refer it to the officers with a recommendation to approve.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. And that also goes for item 23. And number 24 is 22 Dam House, Cartworth Road. This is alterations to convert loft to living accommodation.
Yeah, I think it looks fine. To be honest, it's just
right.
loft conversion.
Yeah, that's okay. We're happy to support. Now then, number 25, former Midlothian Garage, New Mill Road. Variation of condition 1. Plans on previous permission 2018. I don't know if anybody had a look at trying to get it into these, but I went all over. I went to Murfield. There were some plans for Murfield for this. Anyhow, have we anybody who would like to make some comments on this?
Yeah, I had a look at them, and it only applies to 11 of the total number of houses. And it's because a new developer has acquired the site and wants to put something slightly different on, and they looked okay to me.
Very brave man.
No problem with them.
A very brave man. Right, Rachel, what do you think?
I'd echo what Mary said. I think it's just. I mean, to be honest, it's quite difficult to tell what the difference, exactly what the difference is. It's always a bit annoying when you get things that just say variation of the plans. It's like, well, actually, what has changed specifically? It'd be helpful if it told us if there was a different mix of property types. But I think broadly, I support the the work's underway there, isn't it? It's going to be developed into housing. So I personally would leave it to the officers to say that they're happy with those plans.
Might be some
Madam
concrete that they're.
Madam Chairman, I didn't know that the planning application had been approved for this site.
It has, yeah.
It seems to me that no concern is being taken as to what its previous use was. Because not many people on this committee know what it was officially used for, that site originally. It was the site of the waste disposal of the Home Valley.
There's tons of methane under all that.
It was the bloody tip at, what it had a name, I don't forget what we called it now. But never mind. If people are going to build on here, is it safe to build on? That's all I say. But if Kirklees had said it was and given it planning permission for 56 houses, I think we might get more traffic than what we would have had if we'd had Tesco's.
Well, yeah. Anyhow, it's up to the developer to find out what is underneath all that lot. They say that is given to understand that he's just.
No, it'll be a poor householder that'll find out that there's a gas leak or something crops up in front of their garden and causes problems for everybody. There'll be some methane in there, I think.
Oh, there is. Yeah, I read that report once, all about that, and believe you me, there's quite a substantial amount of methane in there. But anyhow, I'm surely he will have read it himself, although there's 1,000 and some pages. Right, anybody
I
any other
remember
comments?
what it was called. It was Berry Banks tip. That was what
That's
it was
it,
called.
Berry Banks tip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, are we all supportive that of what's? Are we? Okay, we're all supportive. Jolly good. Number 11 is Layfield Bank, Wooldale. This is erection of extension, demolition of existing garage and external alterations. Does Doug's Gould ever give any comments at all? He doesn't turn up at any of these planning committees, does he? No. Yes, Rachel. Are you happy to support?
Well, I don't know. It didn't look very in keeping to me, but I know there's lots of different property types around there. I suppose it's one of those classic houses, isn't it? That's kind of gone to town with glass, which seems to be the new thing, floor to ceiling glass walls. It's not really to my taste, and I think it's out of keeping. But I'm not sure that there's enough heritage value immediately in the properties around it, so I'm not sure that's enough to refuse it.
No.
So I'm happy to go with whatever the committee.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Are we happy to support or?
Well, I wasn't too happy with it either, but I don't know what we could, why we could object with. The extension looked enormous in relation to the size of the property, and it diminished the property, but I don't think there's much inherent value in the property anyway, so I don't think we've got grounds to oppose it.
No. Okay, so we're supportive. Okay, can I have a show of hands, please, on that? Thank you very much. Number 27 is Sundial House, 38 Thurston Road, Honley. This is the erection of extensions and alterations to attached barn to extend living accommodation. It is a listed building and in a conservation area.
And the one after it applies to this as well. I think we should refer it with a recommendation to approve.
Yeah,
it looks great to me.
Yeah. Are we happy with that, everybody? Okay, and that also it goes for item 28. And that concludes the planning application list. Let me see how far we've got now, down here. We go back to Kirklees Planning Officer's decision to note the list of decisions noticed by Kirklees. Have we all had a look at them? Have you had a look to see what
Yeah.
Are we happy that that it went? Now we have some here F and G, which are to do with just a minute now. There's one here which is to do with 8 The Village, Woodhead Road Home. Creation of a driveway by using a portion of the existing garden. Are we happy to support that?
This is just a note, Chair.
It's to know that it's already been through us.
Noted.
Yeah.
We're noting that. Okay, thank you. Now then, Rachel, your neighbourhood plan, my dear.
Okay. Yeah, there isn't much of an update, to be honest. We're just waiting for Kirklees to finish processing their checking before they publish our plan for Regulation 16 consultation. There have been a few emails clarifying bits and pieces, but I think possibly over the summertime and given COVID, it's taking them somewhat longer than I'd hoped. But again, the referendum can't be held before May next year, so there's no reason to get too uppity and send a letter yet.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
They might want to choose your minutes carefully, Rich, rather than don't use the word uppity.
Well, I don't think we would do such things. We could put something far worse in than that. Right, number Peak District National Park Authority to note the response by Home Valley Parish Council to the consultation request by email regarding Peak District Park Authority's residential annexes supplementary planning documentation.
Noted.
Are we noting that? Did we send a response?
We did.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And to note the publication of the Peak District National Parks Annual Monitoring Report. Did one have a look at that? Do you know,
To know.
postmen
No.
don't to get stuff through letterbox and that much. Now then,
Actually, sorry, Chair, I did have a look at that, and I thought it was. I only had a skim read, if I'm honest, but it was interesting. There was a bit around supporting thriving and sustainable communities and economy, which included supporting the provision of locally needed housing, which I just thought was quite interesting for the areas of Park that we have.
well, we've only a tiny little bit in the Peak Park, but nevertheless, it's there, isn't it? Next one is number 51. It's the issue with the shop frontage. Have we heard anything at all from these?
No, not yet, councillor.
Dear.
Richard, very good letter.
It was excellent.
Excellent letter.
Yes.
Well put together.
Noted.
Thank you. Do you think we can give them like another fortnight or something, and just send them another one to say that we are disappointed that we have had no response?
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
move that.
Thank you.
Are they
Yes.
same owners?
Pardon?
Are they same owners, do you think?
I think they'll be, possibly. I think they'll be the same owners of both shops because
Yeah.
it is so much. But having
So much
said
alike.
that, come through twice now, and I thought, well, maybe the first time it sort of hit me in the face, but the second time you think, oh, they haven't moved it yet. It doesn't look any different. But it's not in keeping at all with Home First, is it?
No.
Okay. Right, application to, we've done this diversion at Wolfstones, haven't we?
Yep.
Huddersfield Town Centre blueprint. Have we had a look at that and noticed it? Have we taken a note of it, or are we doing anything about it?
Is it a blueprint or a red print?
Well, it'd be a green and in a bit, probably.
Noted.
Noted. Right.
We welcomed it before, the Huddersfield blueprint and the 10-year vision, so I don't think we have to do anything other than note it.
No. Planning for the future. To consider response from the parish council to the government's proposal. What do we want to do?
Well, I think this is a really important issue, and it's a huge change to the structure of planning in the country. We've got until the 29th of October, I worked out, to respond, and I feel that the parish council we should make a response, because it's going to affect us. I think it's going to affect the neighbourhood, the way the neighbourhood plan is used as well. So we should make a response. I mean, I'm happy to offer to if people want to send me comments, I'm happy to pull them together. Or if somebody else wants to do it, that's fine. I just feel we need to take it seriously and spend some time, and we have some time to respond.
Yes, Rachel.
Can I just add to that? Yeah, I had a quick gander through it, and there's sort of a mixture of things that are positive and things that are a bit more concerning, particularly seems to be more of an approach of kind of broad brush treatment of areas, and there's a danger that depending where the cut falls might have a big impact on our area. But I think it's also the impact on the fact the local plan will potentially be kind of thrown out the window, and there'll be a new one. But on the plus side, there's a lot of warm words anyway about retaining neighbourhood planning and also retaining 25% of the infrastructure levy. I think they're looking at changing that anyway. Yeah. But coming to the parish, so there's some pros, but I think there's quite a lot of areas where you think, oh, this isn't necessarily great for us. So I would certainly support Councillor Blacker putting together perhaps a proposed response which could be reviewed at the next planning meeting if we all send
I'll send comments to Richard, and then we can all view it together, can't we? Not if Richard has the responses from all of us, then I think it's best that way. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Madam Chairman, I think if Mary's made the offer to do the collating, I think it would be better than putting pressure on Richard to find something else to do. If Mary can do this and the councillors are prepared to speak with Mary and put their point forward, we can then bring it in front of the next committee and then put a proposal forward, which Richard can then transfer to wherever it's got to go to.
I mean, I'd circulate a draft before the next meeting so that people have got the possibility of commenting on it. Or so, yeah. Anyway, it's an offer.
Pat, are you wanting to speak?
I support Mary doing it. I think she'll go further than simply pulling together the comments and then we all start from scratch. I think she'll take it a stage forward with pulling together a comment, a suggestion, and we can discuss the suggestion rather than starting from the beginning.
Thomas?
Right, yes, Chair. I think it might be worth taking this to full council if this is big changes. It might be worth that it'd be open for comments from the whole council. Other people may be interested in it. I haven't had a chance to read through it for various reasons, but it would be useful to get like an idea like of the headlines. Like Rachel mentioned a few things, but if Mary could put something together and maybe at the full council we could put this on the agenda as well, just to get comments from other councillors.
I think, Thomas, you've jumped the gun there. I think if we send it to all the councillors, who will then refer it to Mary, who brings it then back to the planning committee, then the planning committee can give Richard his instructions what to write to whichever body. So I think if we notify the other councillors, don't waste it as an item on the next agenda, but then get them to bring the item back to Mary with their consultation and their points. She can then make points to us.
That's fine, yeah, that's fine.
Can I just make the point that there are two separate documents here? The one entitled changes to the current planning system, that consultation ends on the 1st of October, so it's a lot later than the other one. So that consultation ends before the next planning meeting.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
There's a lot we can do about that.
No.
I suppose we just include information about that consultation in the other consultation because it's following the same sort of bit of an odd thing. They've got two consultations going at the same time, but
Okay. Right. So we move on to 54. Oh, we've done that.
Chair, I was just thinking, is it worth, given there's the distinction between the two, just so that we maximise the impact that we can have in terms of feeding back. Generally, if you give feedback after the date of a consultation, it can be ignored. So is there not an opportunity maybe to ask members of the planning committee who wish to do so, and indeed full council members, to submit their comments directly as members of the public to that first consultation, and then for the one that runs till the end of October, which is kind of the main one, which is the government white paper, isn't it? That one for Mary to draft the paper collating comments as we've already discussed.
Okay, that's what you want to do. Okay. Can we move on to number 2021-55, Max Bikes? Was set up by a Home Valley resident in memory of her son. Max Bikes wants to supply free bikes and bike racks, and they have 10 free wheel-in bike racks that they would like to place around Holmfirth, and would like suggestions of suitable sites. So they're not supplying.
There's enough bikes on roads around Holmfirth without some more.
Shut up, Paul. So are they supplying the bikes as well? Do I read it right, that?
No,
yes, they provided bikes.
Not for this. This is just basically looking for sites for 10 bike racks around Holmfirth Centre.
Well,
don't you take your bike and then go somewhere else and park it up in another place like they have done in some other inner cities? You just hire a bike by putting your pound in the coin and getting the chain unleashed like a shopping trolley, and then you go and lock it back up into another one somewhere else when you get to the end of your journey.
Councillor Dixon, I think we're a few years off setting up a
I think
forest bike system in Holmfirth. This is just about racking. This is just about racking for people's bikes, because there aren't actually that many places where you can secure your bike in Holmfirth, particularly near cafes. I mean, obviously the challenge is that, so places like Block, for example, people put their bikes on the railings, which isn't ideal given the impact on pedestrians trying to get past. But I think the issue is just whether we've got ideas of locations which might be suitable. I'm obviously conscious that depending on what goes ahead or doesn't go ahead with the new road layout, whatever that will look like, that may affect new parking spots for bicycles. But it's really if members of the committee have got ideas of where it could go.
It does say free bikes and bike racks.
Yeah, no, that's the free bikes is a future initiative. It's not, that's not currently an offer on the table. It's just about the bike racks at the moment.
No, because I was going to say we need to be very. I mean, it's a nice idea, but we've got to be very careful that these bikes are up to standards, haven't we? Really, I mean, I don't say that they won't be.
That's not an issue at the moment. This is just bike racks.
Mm.
They'll be like the some of the other organisations. There's one based in Honley called Street Bikes, which they take old bikes and restore them and then provide them free of charge to people. And I think Max Bikes are looking at providing them mostly to school children.
Yes.
But I mean that's for them. That's their bikes, and obviously, as you say, they've got to be up to standard. I think for us it was just a case because Liz asked me, she sent on the message that we'd received from the lady who set up Max Bikes to say. You know, this is what the charity is, and does the parish council have any view on where the location of the racks could go? So I asked if it could. I said it ought to be.
Does anybody have any ideas as to where we could put some? Is it just going to be in Holmfirth, or we're going to have like one at Thongsbridge or one at Hinchliffe Mill or a couple at Hinchliffe Mill?
I think it's any thoughts of good locations where we think they would be both necessary and used. So
we can put them in front of the hideous shop.
No, not in front of the shop. They want to be in front of the pubs where people stop when they're going on the travels round, so they can go in and have the sandwich, park the bike up outside, and then go inside rather than just leave them thrown anywhere, because it's the opportunity for people to use.
I think before we can make a decision on where we might put them, we probably need to know a little bit more. It could be, it'd be quite useful to know how big, how much space, how big are they, and what kind of fixing.
Just a wheel in. It's just a wheel in thing. So they're about a foot, like a foot and a half.
Is it the whole rack, or is it a whole rack of them, or?
What? It's just It's just 20 times a single one. So it's just 1 times 20. So it's one wheel in thing, and we've got 10 of them.
Then I'm going to say 10.
They stick out. They're not the ones that go up on their end, are they?
No.
No.
It's a wheel in, flat on the ground thing. So you're going to need 5 feet of space behind it.
Yeah, the space behind
it. We have bike racks, so if anybody wants to see one, they can come and see one here.
Okay, Kath, thank you.
Is there any opportunity to suggest to them that, I don't know whether the Civic Hall has any parking for bikes, but it feels as if it may benefit.
Yes, we could suggest.
Yes, it would be a good idea, because I think
it has been suggested.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple at the Civic Hall.
Yeah, I'll have a look, and I'll have a chat with Dawn and Liz and see what they suggest.
Yeah, it might be a bad idea, that, because I think one of our councillors comes quite frequently on a bicycle. Councillor Sheard, doesn't she? She comes on a bicycle, and she brings it into the Civic Hall itself, which I don't know where, and then she changed it to the railing at the bottom of the steps and inside the Civic Hall.
Right.
Not so far off, actually, where the lift is, which could be a bit problematical, I suppose, if it all went a bit pear-shaped. But anyhow, as you say, we can have a look at some areas, can't we, at where we could put one. Maybe somewhere like between the little narrow gap, isn't there, between the butcher's shop and what was Lloyd's Bank. There's like a little narrow place there where one might slot in. You have to be careful that they're not a trip hazard. If they're on, you know, if they're on the pavement type thing. Which brings me to another point, Richard. Do you think we could put another item on the agenda next time for these A boards that I've noticed are springing up again? There are quite a lot of A boards turning up on the pavements, which shouldn't be, because they are classed as a trip hazard.
Okay.
If you wouldn't mind.
There is an A board policy.
Yes. Yeah.
Chair, can we move progress, please? Because there's another meeting due to start now for service provision.
Well, they're very lucky that we can muster ourselves together and get this one done in good time, aren't they?
Well, we
have to finish now. So I'd like to thank you all. Service provision, who's on service provision?
Me.
I am.
Right. Okay.
You done then? Shall I let these people in?
Yeah, you can let them in.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Thank you all for turning up.
Bye. Bye.
I might watch it. What time is it?
8:15.
Oh, I'll watch it. I'll watch it for a little bit. I can do that, can't I, as a member of the public?
As long as you're on mute.
No, I can be on mute, don't worry.
Liz?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to leave the recording going. So just, I'll take both recordings on the same file. Don't do anything.
Okay.
Recording. Okay.
Right.
Right. I can go. You're the host now, Liz. Did you notice?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to leave. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Oh.